If you want to go and see where your potential can go in the sport you're playing, then go and play, see where you can go. That's awesome. If you'd rather have a different college experience, focus on other things, find yourself outside of your sport, then go do that. It's your decision. Do what you want and follow your gut.
I'm really excited about today's episode. I have not one guest, but four guests. Today I'm talking to four young women who are either about to graduate from college or recently graduated from college. All of these women were competitive high school athletes, and all four of them chose not to continue their athletic careers into college. This will be an important conversation and an episode for high school athletes and their parents and coaches to tune into, because the reality is that not many female high school athletes continue to play in college. Despite the fact that most do not play sports in college, the lessons that they learn through playing sports throughout their high school years will definitely carry over into college and in the years beyond that too. These four women are proof of this. So welcome to Her Time, Brooke, Bradley, Madison, and Sammy. I usually introduce my guests with a quick bio, but there's four of you today. So I'm going to ask each of you to introduce yourself, tell us your name, the sport you played in high school, your role in the team, your position, and we'll start off that way. So Bradley, you want to give us a start?
I'm Bradley Hughes, and I played soccer in high school, and I was the center mid and was captain my senior year.
And you are a senior in college right now, right?
Yes, I'm a senior in college.
Awesome. All right, Brooke.
Hi, I'm Brooke Corrett. I'm also a senior in college. My main sport was volleyball in high school. I was the libero and I was co-captain of the volleyball team my junior and senior year.
Awesome. Sammy.
My name is Sammy Boudreau, and I did competitive dance, and I was on a dance team in high school. I served as secretary and captain, or president while I was in high school. And I recently graduated from LSU about a year ago in December.
Awesome. And finally, Madison.
Hi, my name is Madison Troth, and my main sport in high school was soccer. I played attacking center mid, and I was a captain my senior year, and I'm also about to graduate in May.
Awesome. Thank y'all so much. So let's go back. Actually, I want to point out before we move on that if you notice, to all my listeners, that all of these women were not just on the team, like they have some sort of leadership role in their sport when they were in high school. So we are talking to people who took it very seriously, took their athletic careers very seriously in high school. So let's go back about 4 or 5 years ago when you're in high school and you're trying to decide about what you're going to do in college. Are you going to play sports in college? Like if you were recruited or if it's a tryout situation and you're trying to make that decision, what was that decision-making process like, and getting to, where you ended up, where you landed?
So my situation was more of a tryout since I was trying out to be a Golden Girl for LSU. So I had to make a decision pretty early on into my senior year. I want to say about January-ish. This was also height of competition season. And I also want to preface that I had to try out during COVID. So this was 2020, which was a very different experience than like everyone else has had. So it was very daunting for me to have to do everything on my own in like solidarity to prepare. But I loved dance so much and I wanted to continue it throughout my college career, or at least try to. So I decided to make that decision and I had to put a lot of long hours into preparation.
Yeah. What about some of my soccer players?
I, early on in high school, I thought that I really wanted to play in college, and I was playing it every single weekend, year round, and I loved it. But once around COVID hit and in middle of my junior year, I started to feel a little burnt out.
Mhm.
And I think that I decided that it wasn't going to be for me, but I also felt this like wave of guilt because I spent so much time playing and my parents put in so much time and money and stuff like that. So it was kind of like a tough thing to come to terms with for
Yeah.
me. So I
Mhm.
didn't want to feel like I wasted all my time, but I feel like I also got so much from playing forever. So I came to terms with it probably middle of my junior year that I wasn't gonna keep going.
Yeah. So going into senior year, you kind of had already made up your mind.
Yeah, I knew that
Yeah.
my goal was to do well with my team, obviously, but for
Absolutely.
college purposes, I was probably done.
Yeah, for sure. How about you, Madison? What was your experience?
Yeah, for me, so my experience was a little bit different. Probably I'd say all my high school experience, like going up into junior year, which is your main recruiting time, I really wanted to play. I loved it so much. I put so much time and effort, as we all did, but I really wanted to keep playing. I wanted to see how far I could go. I decided to go about the recruiting process. I went and toured multiple campuses, went on visits, all that kind of stuff. And it was, I think it was April of my junior year, so the end of my junior year, I found this college, Mississippi College, that I really liked. They had a really good program. It was close to home. It had pretty much everything I wanted, a soccer program, and they gave me a really good offer, and I took it. I verbally committed that summer, and then I ended up signing in that following November of my senior year, and I was just ecstatic. I was so excited to go and play. And I went about that was right when I signed was the beginning of my high school soccer season. And we played our season. That was the best season we had. We won state. And after that season, after we won, I kind of just was so burnt out. I like felt myself not caring as much. I was like, wait, I don't really know if this is for me anymore. I don't know if I want to keep playing. But at the same time, I was like, I also couldn't see myself completely stopping playing. So I really went back and forth for so long as to what to do about this because I was like, I don't want to go to this school. I mean, this is playing in college is a commitment, and
Yeah.
I don't want to go about this commitment. If for myself, I don't want to put myself through that, but I don't want to commit to this team when I don't fully want to do it. So I
Yeah.
went back and forth for a while. It was a few months I went back and forth of what to do. I didn't want to not honor my commitment. I'd fully signed, but something was just pulling me away from it. And ultimately, I decided in April that it wasn't for me. It was probably the hardest decision I ever had to make.
Yeah.
I called the coach. He was super understanding and he told me it happens more than you think. He even said if I wanted to come back, if I changed my mind,
Mm-hmm.
spot was still open. And really one of the things that allowed me to do that was I knew that LSU had a club soccer team, which is
Yeah.
kind of what I was looking for. It wasn't like the full college soccer commitment, but it was something that it was still competitive, something that I could still do and still play and keep up with pretty competitively.
Yeah.
So I knew being able to do that, I thought would give me everything I wanted. I wanted the college experience and I didn't want to just give up going to a school that I really wanted to go to instead of playing soccer.
Yeah.
So ultimately, yeah, it was a hard decision, but I decided not to go and play and honor that commitment. And I've been playing on the LSU club team ever since. And I have a position on the board. And
Wow.
honestly, I stick with my decision. It was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Yeah. That's awesome. Very cool. How about you, Brooke?
So for me, I was also 100% like really wanted to play volleyball in college. Like junior,
Mhm.
senior year, I had spent hours going through like huddle films, making
Yeah.
highlight videos, finding emails, sending them out, going to showcases. It was very time consuming, but it was something that I really wanted to do. So I was fully into it. And so like I think Sammy had said we were all and all of us were being recruited during COVID, which
Mhm.
also made it hard for me because seniors and older players were getting more years of eligibility. So it was taking
Yeah.
spots away from me or our
Mhm.
grade that was
Yeah.
going into sports. I didn't have as many offers as I would have wanted to.
Mhm.
So that made it really frustrating and tough when I was trying to put myself out there. But I had a door open. I got like a walk-on position to play college volleyball, indoor volleyball, and I was super excited about it. And then I don't know, I felt like something I was also kind of getting burnt out and I was like, I don't know if this is for me. I was like, I don't know if I'm just pushing and making myself want to do this because this is all I've known. I don't
Yeah.
know what else is out there. So it was like
Mhm.
that was what was comfortable for me. Volleyball was my whole life pretty much in high school. And so I ended up talking to my parents. It took a lot of time to come to terms with the fact that I didn't want to do it. But
Yeah.
I literally went through the messages today and I texted back in December of before I graduated in 2022 and I was like, "Hey, I think this is it. I don't think I want to do this anymore."
Yeah.
And looking back, I don't regret any of the volleyball that I did ever because it really taught me like, great lessons now that I can use in so many other aspects of my life. So I don't regret it at all. It taught me a lot of lessons, but I'm also glad that I decided to put myself out there in other ways,
Yeah.
sorority life and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
it was tough, but I think it was the right decision too.
Yeah. I think all of you said you talked about just that process. It's a big decision.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, I'm going to decide to be recruited now. It doesn't happen like that. You have to work.
Yeah.
You have to work really hard to make that happen. And so it's a big decision to even make that call. Bradley, you made it earlier. You're like, no, I'm done. I know I'm not going to do this. But, for the three of you who were like, oh no, I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to try. I mean, that in and of itself is a commitment to make that choice. And then all the work to go through that process, at whatever level you take it to. At one point, everybody decided this is not the way where I want to go, the direction I want to go in. But just everything that goes into it. And I think that's important to highlight because I think parents need to realize that, and coaches need to realize how much the athletes are putting into this decision-making process. Because it looks really good for a coach to have a kid who goes to play, right? It does, but that is a big thing that these kids are doing if they're actually trying to make this happen. So I think that's definitely worth highlighting. So we all decided we're not going to do this, right? And so now, you're making this transition. And so what was it like in that time where it was over, right? And there was either relief or, whatever, mixed bag probably, I can't imagine. It's like relief on some levels, but like bittersweet, right? And then you're making this transition to a different life. You went from being an athlete. It's very regimented. There's a lot you have to do. I mean, you have to go to your practices, your workouts, your time is spent doing this, right? Like Brooke, you mentioned how it's like, that was my whole life, right? And then now that's not your whole life. So what was that transition like I guess over that summer and then starting college? Like, what was that like?
For me, I knew going into it I was going to play in the club soccer team, and I knew this was still something that like I was going to be playing soccer a lot. We practiced multiple days a week, multiple hours a week. We traveled, played in leagues, we went to regionals, nationals. It was still though a little bit weird for me because obviously this was still a commitment to this club team, but compared to what I did in high school, I mean, I was practicing every day. I was doing private training sessions. It was my whole life too, obviously. And it no longer was my whole life. I now had the element of I'm adjusting to college, I'm rushing a sorority, I'm having to focus on grad school and like what I'm going to grad school after and what I'm going to do after school. And it felt really weird at first because I think I didn't realize how much I looked at myself and thought of like, hey, you're a soccer player. Like it was almost my identity. It was how I viewed myself. And I didn't really realize it until it wasn't my entire identity anymore. And it took me a minute to adjust that for sure, to adjust to that for sure, and to see myself in all these different realms and just not only as a soccer player. And it was really hard at first because obviously I wasn't as good anymore at soccer as I once was. So even going to practices and playing in the games, it was like, wow, I'm really
Yeah,
not as good as I used to be. But that's the sacrifice I made. I decided to do
right.
that. And
Yeah,
it was a hard adjustment at first, but I still stand by it. But yeah, I'd say the hardest thing for me was just like accepting that that wasn't my entire identity anymore and kind of finding myself and who I was outside of soccer.
sure. Yeah. I know, Sammy,
Oh,
you were nodding your
oh,
head when she was saying that.
sorry.
You have a similar thought on that?
Yeah, so when I tried out for Golden Girls, they did a top 20, which I made, but they
Mhm.
only take 18 girls. So unfortunately, I was one of the two that they did not take. And
Right.
so as being a dancer, you take a lot of rejection, you take a lot of criticism. So after that had happened and before going into summer, again, still COVID time, so I don't know if I'm going to school, going to stay home. I kind of went deep inside myself and kind of had to look inside and be like, okay, well, if I'm not going to do this for the next 4 years,
Yeah.
what do I want to do for myself? So then I went through freshman year of college, was debating on trying out again, tried
Yeah.
out again, had the same position that I was in the first time. And I took it as my sign of, you know what? I enjoyed being able to go to football games, being
Yeah.
able to hang out with my friends. If I wanted to go home, I could go home. If I wanted to do this, I could do this. So it was a very different thing of having my own schedule in
Hmm.
what I wanted to do. And I needed to figure out what I wanted to do for myself and not always be like, oh, well, I have to go to practice. Like I have this group dance that I need to practice. I have to go to practice because they need me for this, or I need to go and do this. But I had to like learn how to do things for myself and what
Yeah.
I wanted to do. Um, and then identity wise, it was just kind of like I would meet these people and we talk and you have conversations, and all of a sudden, like what you do in high school gets brought up, and they were like, "You were captain of your dance team? You did this? Oh my gosh, I totally forget that you dance." And I'm like, "Yep, good 17 years of the life, you know?"
Yeah.
And so it was just different to have people see you from a personality perspective without having the fact of, oh, you were such a trained athlete
Yeah.
coming from people in college compared to like high school and growing up that way.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. Y'all all nodded your heads when she just said that. Yeah. I don't know. What about you? So I know actually all of you did end up going into a sorority too, right? You all rushed. That had to have been something that was
Yes.
helpful
Oh, yeah.
at that point in time, right? You know,
Mhm.
now you have, I was in a sorority in college too, so I know what I mean, it was a lot, many years before y'all were, but some things don't change, right? Like there's a lot that goes on when you're in a sorority. You
Yeah.
have this safety net of people, you meet all these different people, you have social activities that you're doing and just different opportunities to get involved at different levels with different
Mhm.
aspects of being in a sorority. So I have to imagine that that was something that
Yeah.
was very helpful when you're making that move from.
Yeah, for sure. I would also say, like, to add on to that, I feel like because, or at least for me, because I played a high school sport and I was also like playing other sports, like I played basketball for a little bit, tennis for a little bit, beach volleyball too on my off season. I was balancing so many things that basically time management was so essential for me to learn and master while I was in high school that when I got to college, I was able to do that already. Like I learned how to be disciplined from my sports so that I could,
Yeah.
and I was able to put that into my studying and my time with friends. I was able to balance it well or better than someone who had never played a sport, a high school sport,
Yeah.
and didn't know how to manage that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, didn't have those restraints, like those time restraints you had to work around at such an early age.
Right. And it kind of
Yeah.
like taught me how to do that. Like I was
Hmm.
forced to, but that's how I learned how to manage my
Yeah.
time, you know?
Right.
I'm gonna piggyback off of that. Some transition to college was different because time, yes, you learn a lot of time management and you learn a lot of discipline and stuff like that, which is great. But you go from going to school from 7:30 in the morning to 3:15 to going straight to practice to getting home at like maybe 6 o'clock. So you're gone from 7:30 in the morning to 6 o'clock, and that just like completely goes away. Which,
Yeah.
especially your freshman year, like you get a little, like when you start to work and stuff like that, like you get a little busier throughout college. But my freshman year, first semester, I had to go to chapter once a week and 5 classes that were spread out throughout the week. So I had to like learn to be like, what am I supposed to do with my free time
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So that was hard. And then also for me, this is like super kind of random, but with working out, I was told what to do when I worked out. I was playing, having
Yeah.
practice. I was told when I had to be there, when, and so like having discipline to do that on your own is really important. And also, I would go to the gym freshman year and be like, what am I supposed to do? Nobody's telling me what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Like, what workout am I supposed to be doing? I didn't know the efficient, like, what would be efficient for me. And
Yeah.
so that was something that was difficult for me as a transit, like, as I transitioned to college. And same thing, piggybacking off of the Madison and pretty much everybody else, but my identity was a soccer player. Like
Yeah.
you were doing that your entire life. I did that for 17 years and then it was just like poof, it's gone. Which is a decision I kind of made, but at the same time it's like, okay, now what am I supposed to do? So that was like a tough transition.
It is. Like it's and then you're at this point when you're like 18, 19 years old. Like you're not, a 30 something year old adult years. Like you're young and you're still having to make these big calls. It's not easy to do, right? I mean, I think again, like I just want to highlight that. I want people to realize that it's going to be challenging. There's going to be challenges that maybe you don't even foresee, and then you have to figure out how to navigate it. So absolutely. Um, Talk about working out without a team. So what did y'all do?
I tried to take classes. I got
Yeah.
the UREC offers some classes if you go to
Mhm.
LSU. But I also signed up for like a Pilates class. That was
Yeah.
easier for me to like learn how to do.
Mhm.
And my friends and I would go on walks and stuff like that. So I think I needed people. I was so used to having a team that like I feel like I needed people around me to like push myself. Because I'm
Yeah.
super competitive to where like if I was in a Pilates class and I was looking at somebody next to me, like I was like, okay, I can't stop if they don't stop. Like I just, that's my mindset.
Yeah.
So it was, I needed people. I still do sometimes feel like I need people around me to like push myself. And it's what I was used to my whole life. So
Yeah. Hmm. I've seen y'all all work out, so I know y'all all continue to do that through college. So that's good because I don't know. For about when I was in college, again, this is a lot longer. Like I'm probably almost be y'all's. I am almost be y'all's mom. But when I was in college, like you're sure your mom say, like not everybody worked out. You know, like I did. I lived in a
Right.
dorm close to the gym, and then I lived in a sorority house across from where the gym was. I did, but it's like not everybody around you worked out, and sometimes it was like, you're really gonna go work out again? It's like, yeah, you know,
Right. And like
why didn't
I
you?
signed up for a half marathon because I was like, I need something to like,
Yeah,
I need like goals in my head that I like go
yeah.
do.
That's awesome. That's a great thing to do. Anybody else sign up for a half marathon?
I did. Me and
You
brother are
did?
doing it
Really?
together. Yeah, we're doing it. It's next weekend actually.
That's awesome. And I Sammy did, right? You signed up for one.
These are
Signed up for a full
full marathon. Yeah.
marathon. Crazy. It's what school does to you kids.
Yeah.
In your 20s, you either run a marathon or you get engaged. Running the marathon.
That's awesome. I love it. You done a half marathon or a marathon, Brooke?
No, the most I've done is a 5K. My sorority does a 5K every
Yeah.
year. So I do that, but I
Yeah.
haven't made it to the half marathon yet.
Neither have I.
Yeah.
I'm all for I admire y'all for that, but no. A 5K is max.
Yeah, me too.
So let's look back over the last 4 years. So you're in college, you've made the transition, you've navigated that initial transition. Think about, are there any experiences that kind of stand out in college, whether it was something, something you were involved in with your sorority or, you know, a train, it's like you signed up for a half marathon or taking the classes or something that kind of stands out. Even could be like a project you were involved in school, right? You worked on a group project or something that you really can kind of say like, oh, I was a youth athlete, as a high school athlete, that I learned these skills when I was a high school athlete, um, and it actually helped out in this other capacity. Like, can you think of anything like that happened in college?
Yeah, I would say for me, there was like a physical aspect and a mental aspect that I both like got from being a high school athlete. So physically, I feel like because I did workout classes with the trainer and off-season workouts, I learned how to work out. I like to work out like on my own. I like to do my own thing. I like to write my own workouts, do all that type of stuff. So I feel like it gave me more confidence to go to the UREC on my own and like do my own thing and like know what I'm doing and know what form, how to not injure myself. Like
Yeah.
that was very helpful from high school workouts and stuff that I learned to be physically strong, but also on the other side of that, like I feel like because I was captain and like got to do so many like leadership opportunities through that, I got to have two leadership roles in my sorority and I felt super prepared for that. I was able to talk to people and like communicate with
Yeah.
other people and lead and like work with everyone and like work as a team. So like I feel like high school sports help you with working out in college because you kind of
Mhm.
get prepared in that way, but you also have skills like leadership and communication that also help you in college, like with
Yeah.
different experiences.
And that helps you outside of college too.
That too. Yeah.
Yeah.
For the rest of your life.
It really will for the rest of your life. Those are life skills,
Yeah.
definitely, for sure. What about some of the biggest lessons you took from You kind of alluded to some of those, Brooke, just now, but some of the biggest lessons you took from high school sports, being an athlete as a high school kid. It could be stuff we already covered, you know.
Say, honestly, just like consistent hard work. You're not
Yeah.
always going to see results every single day or even every single week. You have
Yeah.
to know that you just have to keep working hard and that you have an end goal. Eventually you'll see it, but you have to learn to appreciate the process too. I know for most of us, we just applied to PT school
Yeah.
and just everything we've had to do over the past 4 years, I've worked and done multiple experience jobs, just consistently trying to earn good grades, balancing sorority and club soccer and other jobs with that. It wasn't always easy and it was hard. It was long days that I had to miss out on some things. Say I couldn't go to some sorority event because I had practice or I knew I had a big exam coming up. It's hard in the moment to know that you have to sacrifice some things and that you have to keep working hard, especially when the goal could be so far off. I mean, that
Yeah.
was maybe even sophomore year. I was sacrificing things for what PT school in 2 years, but I knew in the long run it would pay off.
Yeah.
And yeah, now senior year after we just went through interviews, so I've kind of been like reflecting over everything I've done, seeing that how it all came together and the experiences and the lessons I've learned from it all, seeing how that put into my application has really, I would say coming from high school sports, especially with us for Dominican, we consistently became short of our goal until senior year. We just kept losing and losing and losing until senior year. We finally won. It was kind of like that. You just have to keep going, knowing
Yeah.
that you can get there. It might be harder than you thought. It might take more work than you thought, but you have to be willing to go through the process and even appreciate the process while you're going through it.
Yeah. Appreciate the process. That is a big thing for sure. Definitely.
I really feel like I learned how to be a teammate and like whether that's just like friend or like at work or stuff like that. You just learn how to communicate people. I feel like sometimes you can really tell when people have been on a team before and they just know
Yeah.
how to, I feel like you can tell that they know how to talk to people and they know the right things to say and you're just normal. I feel like you can really tell and I think that's really something that I learned just throughout college with meeting new people and working and at two different clinics and stuff like that. So I feel like that was something that I really learned.
Yeah, absolutely. How about habits that you formed as an athlete? Obviously, like working out, you all continue to work out, but habits you formed as an athlete that you still have today or have played a role in, how you went about your college experience.
Would say a habit that I have found, which also goes with something that I learned with, was being confident within myself and knowing that this is what I want to do, this is what I want to go for, and I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
Like that type of habit, like you want to do really good on in this class. I'm going to do good in this class. Having the mindset of if you want it, you can have it. You just have to do it.
Yeah.
And being a part of that habit is like having the determination and knowing, okay, this is what I need to do. This is how I need to do it. And then I can get to my end goal. Having a start and an end is a habit that I started having because it's like when I would learn a solo, the first month that I'd learn it in dance, it's like, okay, oof, this is really hard. I'm like out of breath by the time I hit a minute and a half and
Yeah.
it's on almost 3 minute solo. By the time you get to competition time, I was ready to go. I
Yeah.
constantly practice things over and over and over and over again. And the repetitiveness of doing things again and just being with myself and being confident in myself, saying that I have this, I can do this, is something that really helped me get through college, especially because as people, we grow so much within those 4 years. Not only like you go through friend groups, you go through different people that you meet. Do you want to do this major? Do you want to switch majors like I did? I had to do a lot of internal and being confident in myself and knowing that this is what I want to do. And if this is not what I want to do, then I need to move past it and keep moving forward type of situation.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say one of my habits that has stuck with me is doing
what you're supposed to do, even if you don't feel like it. Like there's a lot
Yeah.
of times in my life where I'm like, I really don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like studying. I don't feel like working out. I don't feel
Yeah.
like eating healthy, but like
Mm-hmm.
it's what you're supposed to do. And
Yeah.
I've just through high school sports, I've just been taught, even though I don't feel like doing it, I'm going to do it anyway because it's what's good for me and it's what's right and what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
You know, so that also helps with discipline, staying disciplined. Like I learned how to do that throughout high school sports, and it's something I carry with me today, that even if I don't feel like doing it, I'm still going to do it because that's just what I have to do, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's important.
Yeah, I'd say going off of that and what Sammy said and what I was saying earlier, it's just like consistency. You don't always feel like doing it. You don't always want to do it, but you know you've set an end goal for yourself and you know what you want. You just have to keep working towards it, no matter if you wake up feeling like doing it or not. Because the truth is, you're often not gonna feel like doing it. You're not gonna feel like staying up late to study for that test. You're not gonna feel like missing this event or running however many miles you've set for yourself on this half marathon plan that we're doing. But you have to keep doing it because you know there's an end goal and you know it's worth it.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's awesome. So what are some things, we're going to switch gears a little bit. What are some things that you miss about being on your team in high school?
I would say simply just being on a team. We were forced to be together all the time. You get so close with all these people. And for Madison and I, we played with a lot of those girls since we were like probably 7 or 8 years old. So
Mhm.
about 10 years we were together constantly, and we were super close. And just being on a team was something that was, you just like knew you had people around you, whether they wanted to be there or not.
Yeah.
They were going to support you, and I feel like that's something that I definitely miss.
Mhm.
Yeah, I also miss like the team aspect. Like, and like she said, like a lot of the people that I played with in high school, like I grew up playing with them at the playground and through middle school. A lot of these people have been with me since I was 4. So I
Yeah.
miss being with the people that I grew up with and have been friends with since I was young. And we kind of grew together. Like we taught each other how to work hard, push each other, held each other accountable. That's I miss having the team around me too.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's for sure what I miss the most too. That and also just the competitiveness. I loved, especially the games where it was so close and you had to like literally give it everything, even just to get a tie. I miss that adrenaline. I know I still play and we still have pretty competitive games, but it's not the same, obviously.
Mhm.
And yeah, I just being surrounded by people that you're so close with that know you so well on it's a different level. You know these people that you're playing with on a different level than any of your other friends. Just
Yeah.
being able to play in that kind of competition in
Yeah.
something that means so much to you and those people around you
Mhm.
working towards the same goal. It's just, yeah, it's irreplaceable.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like there's an intimacy to it. And there's also like this ultimate trust, right?
Right.
Like, you know,
Definitely.
yeah. And those are two things about teams that, it's hard to find situations where that is replicated, right?
Definitely.
But it's such a really cool thing to experience, to be a
Right.
part of. Absolutely. So, is there anything you don't miss?
I'd say the biggest thing is the lack of free time. Like Bradley was saying,
Yeah.
going to school from 7:30 to 3:30 straight to practice. 6 p.m. you're getting home. You have to do your homework. You don't get to just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So I'd say the biggest thing in college and not playing a sport at that level anymore is you get a lot more free time, and that can be good or bad depending on what you do with it. But if you stay disciplined with it, that free time is such a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that I don't miss like being told what to do, where to be, what
Yeah.
time I have to be there. Like I like now that in college, like I can make my own schedule. I can put my classes when I want them. Like I like to do early morning classes, get them out the way.
Mhm.
I like having my own schedule and picking what I want to do throughout the day and getting the things done that I need to and not having someone in my ear being like, you have to be here at this time, you have to do this, you have to bring this. I like that freedom.
Yeah. Hmm.
Like it was helpful and it taught me a lot, but I like that I have my own schedule now.
Well, I think ideally, like you learn the lessons on how to do this, right? How to manage your time, right? And then you
Right.
get the freedom to put those lessons into practice and
Exactly.
manage your time, right? And some people are obviously better at it than others, and if you're trying to figure out how to do that for the first time in your life and you're 18 years old, probably have a few bumps you're gonna
Right, yeah.
bumps in the road in
Yeah.
that process, right? So, ideally that experience will have helped make that a smoother process at the time. Absolutely. So if you were going to give some advice to high school students now, um, just think about like to where you were, but so they're in high school now, they're juniors or seniors, and they're trying to make a decision on what to do, and they're sweating it because they're like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen if I don't continue to play sports because it's what I've done my whole life, right? Who am I going to be if I don't play sports? Or like, okay, I think I know it's going to be hard. I know it's difficult. I think I want to do it anyway. So what would be some advice you would give to those kids right now? They're 16, 17 years old, and they're trying to figure out how the next 4 years of their life is going to go.
I would say the biggest thing for me was, I mean, I thought I made the decision and then I went back on it and something was pulling me away. Just follow your gut. There's, yes, it's a big decision and you should think about it a lot, but at the end of the day, it's not the end all be all of your life. And no matter what decision you make, it's not the final decision. I mean, if you go and play and you don't like it, you can transfer it. Or if you end up going somewhere you miss it so much, you can still get back into it. It's not final decision rest of your life. But yeah, just follow your gut. Remember, it's your life. Listen to yourself. What do you want? What do you want out of your college experience? If you want to go and see where your potential can go in the sport you're playing, then go and play. See where you can go. That's awesome. If you'd rather have a different college experience, focus on other things, find yourself outside of your sport, then go do that. It's your decision. Do what you want and follow your gut.
I would say that, like, honestly, in the end, it's all gonna be like okay. But I also think that it's important to listen to, like Madison said, like listen to yourself. Everybody's journey is completely different, different coaches, different sports, different competitiveness for high school, for club, for anything. So everybody's honestly super different. So I think that if you reflect back on your experiences and, like Madison said, reflect on what you want for the future, it's really important to, like she said, listen to your gut and your heart. But in the end, like it really is all going to be okay. Like in the grand scheme of things, this is such a small, and I hate to say that but it is just such a small part of your life if in the
Yeah.
grand scheme of things. I know right now it's the biggest thing in the entire world to you, which is completely understandable. It was the biggest thing for me too. But in the grand scheme of things, that it's such a small part of your life, and whether you do it or not, if you don't do it, you'll still learn so much from it. But we also, Madison and I have a teammate that went on to play for LSU, and it's the best thing that she ever decided because she had a completely different, it was her, like our experience was completely different from hers, even though we were on the same team and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
that's a
it
great
really
point.
just depends on what you want.
To go off of that, that is so true. It's not a small decision. It feels like it's everything in the moment. And this, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it completely destroyed me for 3 months on deciding what to do. I was torn apart. I thought it was life changing. And now I genuinely forget all the time that I even almost went and played. Like I have,
Yeah.
so I've found myself in so many different ways outside of soccer. And I forgot this was almost 4 years ago. I forget all the time that I wasn't even supposed to just go to LSU to begin with.
Yeah.
So yes, it's a big decision and ponder it. Don't take it lightly, but just know that in 2, 3 years, you're going to be fine no matter what you do.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say my biggest piece of advice is to do what's best for you, not for anyone else, and to not do it for like the recognition or the clout, Like I would say do it because you really want to do it. But if there is that little doubt in your mind, like listen to it. Like
Yeah.
and explore it. Like don't just shut it out just because this is what all you've known. Like put yourself out there, like see what else you can do besides this one thing that's been your identity for the whole time.
Yeah.
And also, like if you decide not to do it, like all the stuff you've learned and the lessons you've learned, like no one can take any of that away from you, and you're going to keep that with you for the rest of your life. So don't think that because you don't do it, it's a waste of time and you wasted all these years of your life playing. Like these are important lessons that will help you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And if you're preparing to try out, like this is what you want to do, this is what you want to go for, you also have to prepare yourself of what happens if it does not go in your favor. And
Yeah.
like learning to be okay with that, because it's like
Yeah.
you might be like, yes, I want to go for it, want to go for it, but you shouldn't try and spend your entire college career trying for this one thing that you just keep, it's just not in the cards for you. And that's something I also had to go back and understand, that is like people always tell you how great of a person you are at what you do, and they're not wrong. It's just in that point in time, it might not be the right thing for you. And you also have to be okay with that and learn, okay, well, maybe I need to learn a little bit more about myself and what else I can do. And maybe it's time for me to just put the shoes down and go in a different direction.
Yeah. Yeah. Because those lessons, like Brooke said, those lessons, they carry over just so many other aspects of your life, right? And this is just one little point in time, right? And you just go from there because there's so much out there for you to go and see, right? So, well, I just want to say thank you all so much, because I think this, like I said, I had a feeling this was going to be a great conversation for people, for athletes to listen to, but also for their parents and for their coaches to listen to, because this is the real stuff, right? And a lot of lessons learned, a lot of great insight. And like I said, I'm just very grateful for your time today. So you are all super impressive. And I think that you're all great role models for today's high school athletes.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank
Thanks for having
you.
us.
Thank you.
Turn